Flooring in your garage gym is important, but can you eat and lick off your flooring? That's where cleaning your garage gym floors comes in. The method I use to clean my own garage gym doesn't push the dirt around like using a mop would do. So let's see the method I use and helps clean my garage gym the best. First process of cleaning the garage gym floors, we're going to be using the dry vac, but it's actually been too long since I've actually cleaned my garage gym floors. One of the reasons why it is so dirty, I've neglected this by being lazy and had too much stuff going on, but honestly just laziness. As you can tell, just using the dry vac, I've actually cleaned most of this section up, even without going to our next process. The reason why I go with the dry vac first is because it gets a lot of those bigger chunks up. One of the main things to have with this dry vac is having a detachable cord to get those chunks up easier and also get those corners where the main dry vac can't get to. As you can see here, I'm trying to lift up on the stall mat and get underneath it, but because it's so tight to that corner, I actually can't get the stall mat up. So I can't get underneath it, but it isn't too concerning because a lot of that gunk won't go get down in there. Before I start a new section, I will run the vacuum first before I pull out the hose to get those corners, because then I know how much closer I need to go to the corner if I pull out the hose. The hose is a great way to get some of those cobwebs up that are just a pain to walk into or touch. You don't have to use the Swiffer duster or any kind of material, you just have to use the hose. Just a quick and easy way to get this clean. As you can see here, I have a few little cobwebs where the sheetrock doesn't fully touch the concrete. So it's just picking those up very easily. And as you can see here, I'm going flat against the sheetrock. And this just helps have a little bit more pressure on the bottom side, and as well as a prime example of picking up a leaf. This is a bigger object for the next process. You could use a leaf blower, but this is just going to push that crap around, and you don't want that. We just want it to be quick and easy and something that doesn't take up too much time. The doorway that leads into the garage has a lot of leaves that I did not address even this summer or this fall, so began to pile up over time. The hose is able to pick those up pretty quickly with little effort. And don't worry if the cord becomes unplugged. It happens to everyone. Just go back and plug it in. It's going to happen, but try to figure out the best way to have that cord go around you. And don't be like me and just hit the vac with the cord the whole time. Do you address the salt and sand markings on the stall mats? One big problem with the dry vac is we're not going to be able to address those salts and sand stains that come on the stall mats from your car if you park your car on the garage gym flooring. This will be addressed in the next process. Just so you know, we aren't going to be using a mop. We're going to be using something different because that mop isn't actually going to clean this up. It's just going to push that crap around and not actually pick it up. How often do you want to be cleaning? I would say if you want to do a full clean twice a year, I'd rather probably be doing this in both the fall and the springtime so we can completely get a lot of that sand and salt that is there. Even if you don't park your car in the garage, you can still drag some of that stuff in with your shoes, but with the dry vac, what I would be doing is actually doing this as much as you need to, but every 2 weeks is a good mark to hit. And you don't have to move the equipment every single time. It's just a great idea to do so, and a full clean when you need to do it as well. Do you plan the cleaning process? I start on one side of the garage first, and then I'll move all the equipment to the other side. Then once I'm done with the side that I started with, I move the equipment back to the other side and then start on that last section. You're going to see this is probably one of the grossest section of my garage gym because it's underneath the GHD, which doesn't really get moved enough. The drastic difference of just using the dry vac compared to doing nothing at all will amaze you once you see this. These are two prime examples of just using the hose to dry vac and how easy it is just to clean up those sections of leaves. This is the first corner of my garage, and then this is the second area, and you can see how much cleaner it actually looks. And because they were so dirty, I actually just went and attacked them right away instead of using the dry vac by itself and then going back and using the hose. So now I'm going back to clean up with the dry vac in this last section to make sure I get all of the little dirt up that I can with the dry vac and those little leaves as well. Another gross thing to see is what the dry vac looks like when you are completely done cleaning. This is just the garage itself and nothing inside the house. This is disgusting, something you don't think about when you are flopping onto the ground, but it's something that definitely makes a large difference when you are looking to go onto the ground to do burpees or just lifting in general, because what happens is the ground can become slippery because of the dirt and grime, which doesn't create a safe surface.
Why are you eating? You're not even done yet.
I know.
I just got hungry because it was just taking too long, so I had to do something.
Maybe at the end you could share a way that they don't have to clean so often. Maybe it might save them some time. The first step is to figure out what size area you're going to be doing, such as a small or large. As this system only has two options to pick from, this will determine how much water you need to fill the area with. You'll just need to unscrew the cap and what temperature for water you want. It's as warmer as the faucet will go. The wet vac has a maximum capacity of 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius. I'm going to do a large area, so fill up the water first before I put the formula in. We aren't going to be using the formula, but I recommend is because it actually does a high markup, but I do use a auto ban. This is going to eliminate the odors, but it will also disinfect the floors just like a normal floor cleaner would. Here I filled the formula up to the line that it requires. This wet vac does have different styles of brushes, but because I'm using a rubber flooring, I don't care about the little rubber things that the little brush has in it that would mark up a floors. I now just click this brush into the holding space by starting one side and then placing the other side in. Once you get that brush in, you can close the lid. The dirty water with the wet vac is stored in a storage compartment in the front, and as shown here is me sliding the storage container in the wet vac. Now you just need to unwrap the cord off the back of the wet vac and then go plug this into the wall. It is a colder day here, so I do wear some gloves. To put the water into the wet vac, you just need to put the water reserve into the backside. It'll go upside down, so the little nozzle will go in. There are two modes, two options to select on the wet vac to be used. Can use a hard surface or carpet style. So I'm doing a hard surface, so I select the button on top. The underside, there is a trigger. This trigger will spit out water solution. So this is how you would spray the water onto the floor. I'm just doing a little once over in this area, nothing too serious, but you want to be patient with the water. You don't want to rush when you are using this because that will not be as efficient as leaving a lot of dirt left over. You actually want to be going slower than I do to remove the salt and stuff, because being more patient will let that brush actually pick up that dirt and grime much easier. As you can see here, I have two different types of stall mats, which the type of stall mat with the texture chop is actually much more difficult to clean. That is why a big recommendation is to have those stall mats without texture rather than the ones I'm doing right now. So that's what I would do if I were looking to buy more stall mats. Make sure you are buying the non-textured top from like a Tractor Supply or whatever general store that's next to you, but I highly recommend Tractor Supply as well, as I know that I can get a 3/4 inch and a non-textured top. The reason why I do a wet vac second after a dry vacuum is because it actually doesn't have to work as hard and clean those micro dirt particles much easier rather than using the wet vac first. So then it doesn't take you multiple tries just to be able to get this clean as much as you would need to be able to work out in and be safe of a workout. This is the worst section of my garage because it's where I park my truck and locate the rear wheels of my car. So this is going to be where the most of that salt and sand dumps off. This is going to be a real test. Does this actually clean it really well, or does it not do a great job? Let's see here if we fast forward if it does actually work. And just looking at the wet vac do its job, it does a great job of cleaning up that special area that had a lot of salt stain on top of the stall mat. So this is going to be a great way to keep your stall mats clean, or even if you will have some standard matting in your garage or for your house or home gym. It's a great way to keep it clean. Even if you have like a baby who pukes on your floor, this is a great way as well. After you're done cleaning your floors for both sides of your garage gym, then you will just have to put your equipment back. But this is how that flooring looks. It's pretty disgusting with all that sand and grime that we picked up. Just watch when we pour the water out how disgusting it is, and actually isn't water, it's just dirt and crap. So that's how disgusting that it looks. When you pour that water out, to help reduce the number of times cleaning, I'm going to try a next thing in the next couple weeks. I'm going to be laying down a tarp to put underneath my truck. That I don't have to clean this every single time or week. This is just a method to try and keep this floor clean. I'm not going to go out and buy a $150 tarp. I'm just going to buy a $18 tarp, something that is clean, cheap, and waterproof. And if it doesn't really work, but I think this is going to be a great way to keep the floors clean, I don't have to clean this every single week. I'll keep you guys updated with how it goes. And here's a video for you guys to watch
if you are looking to keep warm this winter.